Hello, everyone. Last week, in response to the reintroduction of the so-called Equality Act by congressional Democrats, we published yet another statement denouncing it as a men's rights bill and an attack on every woman and girl in the United States, including lesbians, because it would redefine the word sex to include the sexist and homophobic concept of gender identity throughout U.S. civil rights law. The bill was first introduced in 2015 and has been reintroduced in every subsequent session of Congress. And quite frankly, we're tired of it. While it's unlikely the EA will advance in either chamber, we are again taking the opportunity to promote the alternative bill we authored called the Equality for All Act, or EFAA, which would actually do what the EA only claims to, namely prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and nonconformity to sex-based stereotypes, while maintaining the existing sex-based protections for women and girls. On Friday, we initiated a campaign asking signatories and supporters to contact their elected officials and urge them to introduce the EFAA as a viable alternative, an action we intend to repeat monthly until at least one of them takes a strong stand for women and girls. In March, our anti-pornography working group surveyed women, asking a simple open-ended question: how has pornography impacted your life? The group has been working on compiling the results of the survey, and last week we published a selection of representative responses, while excerpts from others can be seen on our social media pages. And I'll put those links are in the PDF I'll share later. Per our organization's bylaws, the board of directors is required to elect board members at an annual meeting that takes place in July. This year, we are seeking to fill between 1 and 4 board positions. Volunteers interested in applying for membership on the board of directors are encouraged to review the job description and minimum qualifications to serve available on the open positions page of our website. The deadline for submitting an application is May 15th. Last Tuesday, California Senate Bill 311, a bill that would have kept male sex offenders out of women's prisons, was shot down by Democrats on the California Senate Public Safety Committee. While the bill was not perfect, as the goal is to keep all men out of women's prisons, it was, as noted by our duty president Aaron Friday, a first step in where we need to get. On Wednesday, Colorado House Bill 25-1312, an authoritarian bill currently being fast-tracked through the Colorado legislature, where Democrats hold majorities in both chambers, passed out of the Senate Judiciary Committee on a 5-2 party line vote, albeit with a number of amendments that the executive director of Protect Kids Colorado referred to as a smokescreen to make it appear that the bill is somehow palatable or constitutional. As originally written, 1312 would not only criminalize dead naming and misgendering as discriminatory acts, but also require courts to consider them as types of coercive control or child abuse when making child custody decisions, essentially coercing parents to transition a child or risk losing their parental rights. While the amendments added under intense public pressure may have removed some of the bill's more egregious language, parental rights advocates are not placated and continue to rally public support in opposition to it. As some may recall, Section 3.2 of Trump's Protecting Children EO directed the Department of Health and Human Services to publish an evidence-based review of the literature and best practices to promote the health of children who assert gender dysphoria, rapid onset gender dysphoria, or other identity-based confusion within 90 days. I'm pleased to report that the 409-page comprehensive review was published on May 1st. Quoting from the HHS press release, this review reveals serious concerns about medical interventions such as puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries that attempt to transition children and adolescents away from their sex, highlights a growing body of evidence pointing to significant risks, including irreversible harms such as infertility, while finding very weak evidence of benefit, and fills a gap in the medical literature and existing clinical practice reviews with regard to the ethical aspects of pediatric medical transition. The response from the usual suspects has been utterly predictable. As Lior Sapir notes on X, having presumably read the 400 plus page report on youth gender medicine published a few hours ago, the AAP says, without a hint of irony, the report prioritizes opinions over dispassionate reviews of evidence. Unsurprisingly, WPATH's response was equally dismissive. Earlier today, the LGB Courage Coalition published a Substack post that addresses these simplistic dismissals and drives home the point that their refusal to engage with one of the central claims of the LGB community, that gender-affirming care functions as a form of gay conversion therapy for same-sex attracted youth, suggests why the completion of this evidence-based review is so critical for the United States. And finally, also on the 1st, the Title IX Special Investigations Team, a joint initiative of the Departments of Education and Justice, launched a directed investigation into the Washington office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction. In a press release, Secretary of Education Linda McMahon said that Washington State appears to use its position of authority to coerce its districts into hiding gender identity information from students' parents and to adopt policies to covertly smuggle gender ideology into the classroom, confusing students and letting boys into girls' sports, bathrooms, and locker rooms. If true, these are clear violations of parental rights and female equality in athletics, which are protected by federal laws that will be enforced by the Trump administration. That's all I have today. Thank you.